Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the About Novus live stream. My name is Dan, and we usually start with some relaxing music, a nice title card, something really sweet, wonderful. Today we're not going to do that. No, today we are going to turn that music off, and we're going to open our chat browser because we've got some friends I hope will join us. And we are going to get to work on this map. This one's a big one. This is one of our campaign maps for the role-playing game. Usually our maps are roughly, we usually do 8 by 11s at 450 DPI. This one, there's a resolution there. 16,000 by, 10,000. Print size itself runs 36 inches by 24 inches. Go ahead and get a calculator out there. So if you really want to get crazy, you can print this out at 162 inches wide. Divide that by 12, or about 13 feet. If you want to go 720 or 72 pixels. So these are big. We hope you enjoyed this. This is the area map that we created a long time ago, and we're just going to jump into it right now. I am going to get rid of a great deal of some of this mass. As you can see, you can kind of get the... Let's do this instead. There we go. Tool. Where is it? Well, we're actually going to make new layers. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be kind of rough. So hold on. The size of this is, well, chat, the size of this is 1 gig. If we have any. So if I'm selecting stuff or doing anything on it, it is going to crunch. There we go. Then I'm running that at 16 megs, 16 gigs of RAM. Oh, baby, hold together. There we go. So we're going to delete that. And again, each one of these layers, they're roughly 350 meg. By the time we're done, a single layer is going to be a gig or so, which is absolutely way too ridiculous, but that's what we like to do. When we sell one of our maps, when we sell one of our maps, we want it to be our customers to be able to downsize it and see every little hill and valley. The unfortunate, oh yeah, it's going to chug. And the unfortunate thing about that, it demands a lot of resources. What I've gone in and done here, I've gone in and made a test a little bit earlier just to see what, how it's running. This is a 500%. Oh, let's see. Actually, give you dimensions. The pixel count is 450 pixels per square inch. Make this up to 500%, so we're actually doing pretty much 200,000 pixels right now. We're just going to that's really chubby. That's it. It's probably because I'm streaming at the same time. We're just adjusting this really quick. Getting ready to do our thing. Again, this is going to take a lot. Paint this down. So it's a little bit better there. So about 15% metallic. There we go. I'm just going to very gently paint this out because we want stuff uniform. This is actually, I used a similar technique on this that Tabletop RPG uses. Yeah, this is actually a little bit, I guess this continent itself is about the size of Asia. Roughly 250, 2,500, excuse me, 3,000, every inch is 100 miles on this. So, 2,600 miles wide, 2,400 miles long. Just add some detail into this. Yep, some music still playing. Let me know if you guys are good on volume. Whatnot. Oh, I got all kinds of crap in here. Sorry about that, guys. It's been a day. We tried to do a web stream earlier, and that just didn't work for me myself. Well, let me just, we'll just do that right now. So just this corner. Yeah, that's good. All right. Hey, welcome to the stream. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Mixer. If you have any comments, questions of what I'm doing or how I'm doing, go ahead and throw that in the chat. If you have any pleas for mercies, angry things you need to rant about, that's okay too. This program will be available on YouTube at our channel. Just look up All Don't Know This. You can find us there. Again, welcome. This is just going to be kind of a chillax thing. Distributional. Oh, I'm so sorry about your little one. How's she doing? Is she doing any better? I know was it your partner that was sick, or was it your little one that was your partner that was sick? Again, for you to just joining us in Twitch and also on Mixer, we're doing our large campaign maps. This is the first part of a probably 6 to 8 part series. And this is one of our big ones. Just got done with the, well, I did the underlaying layer a lot earlier. I just haven't get back to that. Oh man, I'm so sorry. But you'll get this distributional. So you know how we do the 8x11s at 425 or 450? That's what we're working on today, 36 by 24 with 450. This is one of our big ones. This is one of 3 continents. We're just focusing on this for the next couple of podcasts. We're going to go into big time detail on doing this. Now we're going to smooth everything out. And I smooth all that out. Online, how you doing? Sorry about the stream earlier exploding. Apparently that game doesn't like my grid. However, it is working now. And again, guys, if this appears to be a little laggy, that's because this entire file is good 1.2 gigs right now. All right, this is my big brush. It's at 500%, so you can see the difference in size. Usually it's about right there. But someone want this big. Yeah. Today we are actually doing this is one of our maps. This is going to be one of the core maps for our role-playing game. Someone, uh, someone asked that we do one of our big ones. I think it was Dawn. Um, Honestly, Dawn, I am scared to death of that too. That's why I always go in when I'm working with color with that with the airbrush. And I always drop everything to like 0 because when I make a mistake, I can easily fix it. Yeah, next couple of Wednesday, it's going to be of whatever day, probably one of the maps in an hour just for grains and deals. However, Monday and Fridays are now going to be me working on a big map like this, so people can see all the little nuances I use, all the little things I do with one of my big maps. And right now, all I'm doing is I'm using at a full yield giant paint tube, and I'm just starting the process of retexturing and adding mass to this. The mass on the current layer under it is way too small. This painting. When I tested it, like right up here, it was actually leading through so fast that I'm not going to get good. I'm not going to get product like that, so we're going to start on this over. Again, with Art Rage, or pretty much any type of cartography, one of your main things you have to always nail is your underlying layer. Once we get that all sorted out, we're going to look at tectonic forces, look at wind placement, look at size, and all that kind of stuff. The role-playing game, thanks for the plug. It's a role-playing game that me and a couple other people, until like 2 years ago, it was kind of my pet project. We'd play it every now and again. When I was first married 15 years ago, we had absolutely no money, so we couldn't get all the 3.5 books or 3.0 or fun stuff. So we made one ourselves. It was pretty good. It was fun. The concept on it was it was um, a skill based role playing game. You choose your skill. There wasn't a class. You weren't limited, and I'll be 100% honest. It was a little bit of we don't like Dungeons and Dragons because of it's too restrictive. Let's do something else. Um, we then, I kind of palled around the idea. Uh, started. I became a quote unquote grown up. Got the job of my dreams, working at being in charge of a giant art center, and put things on the back burner. Got really sick about 2 years, really sick 2 years ago, mentally and physically. So we also found that my wife could earn more money by being a software developer than I could being a roadie. Do I need to? Do I need to? Oh, thank you. Is that better on sound? Check, 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 check. Yeah, there we go. Check. 1, 2. If I count to 3, I have to actually do something. Let's see if that's going. Check 1, 2. Let me know on sound. Anyways, back to it. We started a business. My best friend actually, and my wife, who's we've known each other forever, even before we married. I met her in junior high. Um, we just decided, get me out of the funk. We're gonna make our own business. We're gonna polish that role playing game, put it in beta test. Sweet, thank you, online. And we decided to go for it. And last 2 years we've beta tested, refined it. It has its own unique systems. Like, it's not like a D20 system or we call it a split dice system. And basically, you have your character, you have attributes, you have actions, then you have certain. The current version has certain trainings that gives you advantage to rolls or modify the outcome of it. I don't know about that, man. But yeah, that's our role playing game. We've been working on it for a while. The crux of it is you can use it to create, with the way we did it, you can use it to create pretty much anything you want. That's balanced. That's been the key part of the balancing, and not just a generic role playing game like GURPS or something else, but something that we went in and started exactly what is one hit point, one health, and what that really means, and we call it essence, and what that really means, and the resources there. And we base the stats on real world, like the attribute stats go 1 through 3. 2 is average, 3 is above average, and if you go to 4, that's Olympian level. And then it's a fun little system. I'm not going to go into it too much because we're actually going to start a role playing stream with it, but it's working. We did the latest update for a beta testing last night. That was a headache, but a good headache once it was done. And that was after a 3-month campaign. We scrapped that. We're going to start over. My players are going to start over at level 1 with the new stuff. And we're going to go from there. The core setting is, we wanted to do something unique. And, that's everybody does. But our thing was, what happens after all the big prophecies in a fantasy world end, or the apocalypse? What happens when the good guys win or the good guys fall, or, what happens after that? What happens to the people and the individuals that have gone through life? Yeah. It's basically, you're on the cusp, these civilizations that have either rebuilt or flourished from the end of these prophecies and end of these, the legends have ended and stuff like that. New ones begin, new gods and stuff like that. And you're going to be the start of either creating a golden age or an age under your control. It's all about your character's choices. We don't use a GM or a game master. We actually use someone called a narrator. And it might not sound that different, but a narrator, they kind of create a sandbox and give you options and narrate how the real world works towards you. Instead of, like, if you're in a dungeon, you would go, okay, you're in XY room. What do you guys want to do in there? That ask questions, you give them that. And as a narrator, you just present what's going on and not a challenge. It's kind of different. You get used to it really fast. Something else we tried to do is me and my wife loved Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2.5. But we love the simplicity of, like, 5th edition, and to be honest, 3rd edition and 3.5. There's a simplicity and a quickness to it. So we decided to make 3 tool sets, and that's why it's taken so long. 3 rule sets. We have our standard rule set, which, it'll take you a couple sessions to get into, to learn how the mechanics are there and everything else. We have we call it the kids edition, just something we like playing with our kids. And this is for something from like 5 to 10 years old. You just sit down and have fun with kids, or the kids can actually narrate it or GM it, and that's just pretty much really easy. But again, all the math is the same, and it's all balanced. Then we have our advanced, our advanced rule set. And it goes from like 5 attributes to 10 attributes. You mix that with actions and you get like something like 600. Well, excuse me, about 60 skills right now. Other trains and stuff like that. But nice thing about it is, since we're basing it off the fact that it's a new age, we didn't want to do something that all the all the great things have been lost, all the wonders of past ages have been, there's been basically a token. We didn't like that the elves have gone away, or the greatest things are broke. This is you make the greatest things that will last for thousands of years. You're going to make these spells that, in 1,000, 2,000 years, they become these epic level spells that adventurers search through to find, and who knows, maybe you're immortal undead by then. But your character will be the mover and the shaker of the world and the universe. It's kind of like, if you're familiar with Warhammer, you get to play Sigmar at his very first, and what you lay down will be the golden age for everything after that. So we didn't want to kind of, constrain characters. We have 2 magic systems. One's based on, it's not like D&D or like White Wolf where you have a slot system. You basically have a resource system. You have 2 types. You can set aside resources to kind of have a spell on hit. You can, blindly cast a spell. There's just a cost. It's kind of like Final Fantasy in that. The other system is it's what I really love, is you kind of cast on the fly depending on what you cast. You have to combine it and roll a skill check and fire it off. Oh yeah, I loved old Warhammer Fantasy. Age of Sigmar is cool, but it's very, I like a good world. I like the old world for Warhammer Fantasy was amazing. I mean, really amazing. It was like the old Forgotten Realms, I guess the current Forgotten Realms world, where you had so many people come in and create it. Yeah, that's what I heard too. I haven't. I've pieced through 5th edition. Um, it is for newer players, and there's this weird complexity starting to sneak in that's really making the game a little bit bogged down. But it's still, it's still D&D. It's still the big and the best. Well, I wouldn't say it's still the one that everybody plays. Yes, mine's the best. Thank you, Roger. Thank you. It's I'd like something new. I'd like some lore-wise new. I'd like a new system. The D20 system works, but it got a little bit of issues from its previous generations. They keep those in for familiar, just to be familiar. But now, don't get me wrong, I love D&D. When I was like 10, I would see these boxes at the the old red and blue boxes at the bookstore. Man, I had dreams about getting those and what was in them and stuff like that. I mean, that's when I started making my own one of my first RPGs, just because I couldn't afford it, and it was awesome. I know the 4th edition. My thoughts on 4th edition. There's a comment from Twitch. 4th edition. Best way I can describe it, it was a money grab. I really didn't like it. 3.5 was just good enough. It worked well. Yeah, fifth edition is very good when it comes to group dynamics, and it's probably since it's probably their strongest game. It was their strongest game they have for the version of D&D, and they did a great job. I even liked third edition back 20 years ago. I enjoyed third edition quite a bit. It was something new. It was totally different from 3.5 in the fact you couldn't make a killing juggernaut, which was kind of the point of 2.5. All right, let's get there. Yay, we're half hour in, and I just got the first texture done. Let's go in. Okay, we're now going to open a new layer. Hold your breath. Hope this does. Okay, cool. And we're going to start on figuring out where stuff is. Since we're working with China, we're going to say that we have a continental plate. Well, something as big as China. So Earth would be about like this. Earth would be about like that. Why don't we have our first plate? Let's get another color. Our first plate right here. Maybe border the ocean. Another plate right there. Yeah, we'll fix that. I don't want a plate right there because that's kind of, I won't say cliche. Because I want this area to be kind of grasslands. So if we had another plate, plate would go about right there. And let's have this guy go into subduction, and this guy be, so we're going to get the big mountains right there. Excuse me, tired. I like Pathfinder. I loved what that group. I mean, they had some. Kind of impressed with what they did there. So this one's stretching out. That's why this plate's stretching out. That's why we're getting those oceans, those lakes and stuff. We have another plate right there. Okay, cool. All right, let's go and talk about, what do you guys think? Hot or cold near the top? Should we do this in the southern hemisphere or the northern hemisphere? So if this would be all desert up here, and this would be cool. Oh, Bethesda. I didn't know that was going on. Okay, Sturm's at it. No, joking. Did anybody catch the Borderlands reveal yesterday? The disaster, the technical issue. Yeah. So, well, if this is moving here, we're getting subduction plates right here. And something's around here. Might have a smaller, yeah, smaller plate would be here because you'd have a, there we go. Then a plateau. Okay, so there it is. Cool. It's different, right? All right. Now let's go ahead and figure out to Google Earth. The biggest thing I've been hyped for Borderlands is my wife and I, when we were first, well, we played it together. Not catching Carmen Sandiego. So we played it quite a bit. And also my son and I have played it. My daughter have played it. So it's kind of a family thing. All right. Let's grab our measuring device. Okay, so that's how big it is. So it's about half the size of Europe. I mean, Africa. From the south. Ah, what is going on? Whoops, that's why. So if we went Antarctica, let's go. Let's actually go where Australia starts. Fjord's about right there. Okay. What I'm doing right now, I'm measuring the size. Where is China? That's about the size. That one on here. So we pass from the top into the equator. Okay, cool. All right. So if we were in the southern hemisphere, this map would chase from about right. Up a little bit on that. Across our subantarctic plate. Come on. Ah, not used to. There we go. Been working in ZBrush way too much. So we'll start the plate here. Get about 5 thou. Okay, so we got Australia, then screenshot on that. Just to give me a quick reference on colors and stuff like that. Of course, we'll go a lot lower than that. Okay. I don't play many games. Path of Exile, of course, is one of them. I do love a good path, but I don't know. I hit 30 and except Vermintide. Now, Vermintide 2, that's our me and my buddies, well, everybody from work, Avant team gets together almost nightly and we actually play Vermintide with the little rat smashing because, you know, that's fun. Wow, I am I am red today. That's okay. That's okay. All right, so we're back into this. All right. So, Rift, mountains, big mountains, mountains. Cool. I'm just going to say desert. We're just going to have some older mountains here from like Appalachian Mountains in the United States. Maybe a diversion there. Okay, that's cool. There we go. Alrighty, wind factors. Since this is the equator right here, that's awesome. So let's go on this one. Latitude, I don't know. Let's go 250. So that means our division's on threes. Actually, no, that'd be 50 and 100. And in that, we'll start off at our C with wind. Oh, let's just do southern. Let's just do that. This is going to show us where the rain shadows are in the mountains and all that good stuff. And of course, our southerlies would be totally reversed. And vice versa. This will be a little bit different. So this is going to be very wet. So this is okay. That's not going to be too wet because it's pulling off land. This up here is going to be tropical. This is going to be dry. That means this area is here temperate. And we're going to get very plants. Okay. There we have our basic setup for this. Now, I'll drop this down to 25%. Let's drop that even more. I don't know. 15. I love Planocide. That was a great thing. That was great that's great program. Okay, let's go ahead and start on mountains. So for mountains, we're going to come in and we're going to just do actually we need to redo our color samples. Let's do that now. That. What am I in the mood for? Let's go to the beach. All right. Sort these out. Let's go green value. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Time to get some gigantic mountains in. So, induction there. Crap, now I need to bump this up. All right, mouse. Subduction. And massive squishy here. Just kind of follow shape of the earth there. And we have this little crazy valley here. We'll figure how that works a little later. Still have our mountain range. Yeah, this is our big tectonic mountain range. Following like that. Down here on this side, we have a lower subduction, so this is pulling apart. Technically have just a little bit here. Stretching out. So any of our mountains in this area are stretching out from this way. Same thing over here. Let's go ahead and get another subduction zone. Right to there. We have another plate there. This is all going to be massive mountains. All volcano-y stuff like that. Let's kind of come down here. That makes a little more sense. There we go. And we have maybe some earlier mountains here that have actually moved down. Nothing really big, but some older mountains that have about to get squished apart. These are going down from here. Just kind of some little ones there. All right. Cool. Okay. We're going to hide that layer. Now we are going to go very slowly with yield glitter. And just go from the top of these and pull out. And all we're doing is we are adding mass to where these plates meet. Then we'll go in and add more mass. Welcome to the stream. My name's Dan. I believe you're new here. Thanks for viewing us. Today we're going through this is the first of probably 6 streams. We're using a program called ArtRage that allows us in real time to emboss fantasy maps and stuff like that. It also, what we're doing here is we're pretty much adding clay and mass onto a map using well, I don't claim to be an expert, but we're using some, basic geological data from our college level to throw this in. Glitter! Yeah, glitter. Hey, Mr. B, how are you, sir? Welcome to the stream. Yep, it's all about the glitter brush. When I was a roadie and we ever used glitter on stage or in a performance, or the artist wanted glitter, we called it the herpes of arts and crafts. Because it's really funny to make fun of unless you're dealing with it. It never goes away, gets everywhere. So, yeah, glitter! We're using the glitter tool because it creates a very nice texture and also a lot of mass quickly on this map, on our maps. We're also using the this rounded tool here. We're going to avoid using the triangle glitter until we do actual mountains. Good, glad to hear that. Also, if you guys hear music, please let me know, because I'm listening. I have my map mix in my head, and I really don't. I wish you guys could hear it because it's great, but I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. That wouldn't be fun. I'm also using a feature in ArtRage that's going to start recording my brush strokes. I'm not doing it right now on this stream. There's actually a way that you can record your painting and what you do in kind of a time lapse. With the size of this painting, I'm not going to do it, but this next Wednesday I will, just to see how that works and see what's going on. Big thanks to our forum guys on the ArtRage page letting me know about that. YouTube has a actually really expansive library of some actually really good stuff. That's what I use, and I've never had a problem with it. It's designed primarily for anyone to use without getting demonetized or flagged by a content creator. And you can download it to computer. It's entirely free. There's also again, I use YouTube's little library versus one of the free channels, because the free channels usually after a while, the second they monetize their free channel, is the second your bot will get the bot will flag. So careful of that. Word of warning. Yeah, just look up YouTube music. Good times. I kind of use a little laid back music. It helps me chill out for this. In all honesty, when I stream, I have this huge amount of anxiety until I start streaming. But then I get into the thing, and it's just fun and soothing. And lately, I've been having a stream's been really fun hanging out with you guys. And I've been really looking forward to it. Adrian 635, thank you for the sub on Twitch. Really appreciate that. Welcome. Just watch. I know this is just, we're using kind of a program. If you want to know about the program, watch on the other things. This is a gigantic map we're making. Oh gosh. I'm using Crayon. But yeah, just watch. You'll get the idea. We're just adding like clay and textures to a program. Then we're going to hollow these out. Map creation uses using Crayon on. If Mr. B, I totally understand if you don't have a issue with your maps, you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. There's always little nuances that I just drive me nuts. There's a while there that I'd get a map done, be pissed off with just a little hill structure or whatnot, and I'd go in and make a new map, get sick of that one. So I get that. I really get that. Last 3 years though, it's been, the worst parts are when I do commissions. I'll definitely do it, and I like helping people, but sometimes the artist will ask for things that just make me, well, the author will just ask for things that makes me cringe. And I will just sit there and, I'll spend like 30, 40 hours on a map, and then they ask me to do a feature that in my gut I'm just like, no. But yeah, I've gotten to the point that with commissions I've just been like, huh, okay, whatever. Also, the maps in an hour that I've been doing recently on Twitch has really helped me. That this one's, well, on streams helped me with that. This map though, this one's a entirely different beast, because this is actually going to be one of, I think, 4 maps of this size for a role-playing game. Some of the maps on, if you go to our website, you can see some of the maps. Those are maps we used initially for the role-playing game. That there were some things I didn't like, some things I liked them about, and they were just sitting in my collection. I said, you know what? There might be some person out there might be interested in one of these maps. So we just sold them $5. We did 4 different versions. I know I'm kind of plugging myself, so I hope you'll forgive me. All right, let's have a look at that. All right, we're getting there. We are getting there. So now we just are going to smooth this out by circles. Commissions, I depends on what they want me to do. Commission wise, it depends on a lot of factors. I'm kind of a dick. If someone's kind of hard to work with, I'll charge them a full price. If I like them and they're like really chillax, I won't charge them at all. I got hired to do a commission by the guys at Mini Wargaming for uh, one of their actually, let me show you that one. It actually has a video. You know what? I'll show that to you guys later. I'll show that. Please don't crash. Please. Okay. I'll show that to you guys later. It's not important, but they were so nice to work with and like do what you want. I like that. I was like, you know what? I love you guys. I'm gonna subscribe to you. I'm gonna give you a very discounted price, and continue to working with the guy, the Matt on the channel. I was just like, dude, take my map. I don't want to even be charged for it. It's my way to support a great channel. They're very graciously, and we give a lot of our professional maps to them because I really like those guys. But commission wise, for a black and white map, I usually 3-4 years ago I ran 250 just for busted out quick. For game studios, if I do any work for them, any topographical features, I'll charge up to $450 to $500, depending on exactly how much detail they want. If it's just kind of a tokenesque fantasy map, $250. I'm not trying to make a living off that, but I definitely want my time to be worthwhile. If I'm doing like 3D terrain or ZBrush work or modeling work for someone, then I go off the hourly rate, depending on how much they're willing to pay for taxes. If they pay all my taxes, I'll go like $20 an hour. If they're not going to pay my taxes, it's $45 to $50 an hour, depending. But definitely be flexible. Nice. That's actually a really good guideline. Can I share that online just in the chat? Or do you want to keep that to yourself? Because I make sure I don't show the chat in my live streams, just because if I'm on Twitch, that's one thing, but a YouTube video, I don't know if there's a place for that. Awesome. Yeah, the stuff for Mini Wargaming, I gave them all the rights, and I definitely didn't stream it. But this is for my game. This is definitely. I want to show you guys how I do this. Oh, sorry. I have to get my right. Yeah, no, I honestly think it's a very fair price. In fact, I think you're undercharging. There is if someone wants full rights and a full commission, um, Online Tabletop runs a hourly rate. You know, $45 an hour. That's that's cheap. Because I've also seen what you do, and you're looking at 15 hours of work and stuff like that. That ain't bad. When I was doing set design or graphic design, I would, before I even consider a project, my price would be $1,500, and that's just for like a 15 by 20 set or a design. And my biggest payoff was about 20 grand. That was absolutely ridiculous. But again, my wife makes more money by programming and being a quality manager for a company than we ever made before. So you got to do what you love. This lets me do what I love. She's enjoying it. She's kicking butt and taking names. I get to be the homemaker and draw maps online. And try not to go feral. Probably an excellent photographer if that happened. We have someone in the stream that started as a graphic designer but ended up becoming a photographer, and I think with the kids I teach in like college, when I lectured and stuff like that, I tell them, yeah, study theater, study, the entertainment arts, but don't make it don't make a job out of it. Okay, if you want to make a job out of it, study an aspect of it. Study a something that makes you a professional with it, and then use that to increase your abilities. So with what you did there online, um, that's awesome. You're probably a wonderful photographer because you got the eye for it. Plus, you know how it's going to be used. I would kill if my income was a quarter of this kind of thing. Speaking of that, I wanted to ask you online. I was kind of thinking, and this might be uh, for this group, it probably wouldn't. I'd probably just let you in for free. But granted, there's only three of you online right now. What is There's been all this talk of Patreon, and I've had a bunch of like family members and friends talk about a Patreon. I understand the nuances of it, but I'm not sure exactly how do you start that up. Is that something people are interested in? Is it worth the time and energy? Just, your 2 cents there. Because right now I'm doing all these miniatures, all these maps, all these, writing games and stuff like that. Yeah, or if you have a source for Patreon information, that'd be great. All right, we've got a good deal of mass here. Okay, I'm now going to save this. It's going to have a small stroke. So, actually, let's save this first. Okay, so again, we're saving a gig in 5. So if this crashes, this better not crash. There we go. The first like 5-10% of this will go really slowly, and then it'll get done. I know. I guess that goes for D. That goes for Mr. B. Or any. With your Patreon, how much does it cost? And what do you offer with that, if I could ask? Hey, welcome back, D. We're talking. I have questions about Patreon. I had a couple people, some people I did some miniatures for, ask if I had something like that. Um, Anyone in this chat would probably get in for free because I like you guys. Oh, sweet. We're saving a gig. We're saving a file. It has to write 1.5 gigs. Yeah, her maps are amazing. She also does those all by hand, doesn't she? Sorry, just waiting. There we go. Wow. Okay. Online tabletop, you're about to have 5 patrons instead of 4. Just heads up. All right. Okay, so my rewards of $1. You get 5 tokens a month, including ones from. So basically, some like yours is you make kind of a currency for it that they get. All right, we're gonna go in harsh chaos, a very light harsh chaos, and kind of blend this a little bit more. Right now, we have a significant amount of mass on this map. That's cool. We're only go 250 on this, and we're going to reduce the pressure and going to really zoom in on this. Make sure these high areas we do first, and then drag them down. Now we're gonna. No worries, man. I have to get a different email. Apparently, Avant Novus is already taken. Why is Avant Novus? Hold on, let me text. Let me text someone. Now I'm freaking out. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was my bad. I had a friend that had some medical problems, and a couple bucks a month was helping them. Okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, now we're up there. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm creating the very highest point on the map, and I'm watching this to do extra work. Um, like this will go for demotivational. I mean, not demotivational, but distributional. I'm making sure that the plateaus here, you can kind of see between the effect of the lighting. I'm trying to get a smooth texture all the way across these highlands. I'm going to have to add some more mass. You can actually see some dips and eddies. And if there's one that's really crazy significant, I really don't want that because I want to control exactly how much mass is that. Like right here is very. I'm actually gonna come in and erase that a little bit. No, I had signed up for Patreon to support a couple people. Yeah, my website is avantnovus.com. I go through Squarespace for that because I frankly like it, and also they have the best security, and the integration that we use for server and backups works with that. Probably work on this for about 2.5 hours. And then Monday stream, I'll come back and work on this a little bit, the same map. Kind of make a time lapse. Wednesday, I will be doing, a map in an hour, but I'm going to actually use the recording feature in ArtRage. And by the way, thank you guys. Thank you so much for the advice on Facebook. I haven't responded to a couple of them because I was really exhausted last night, but I really appreciate the help. I really, really appreciate the help, and it's very kind of you. All right. So again, we're doing plateaus the size of, I don't know, I think about the size of Greece or Hungary. So these are going to be really gigantic plateaus. We're going to make this all even, and then we're going to go in and we're going to, after we make something this big, we're going to start adding additional layers to this, and then starting cut stuff out. This is harsh chaos, but again, with the size of the pixel count and the size of the map, that's 250. I'm trying not to get the same texture. Yeah, I'm not using InstaBlur yet. InstaBlur will come when I get all the leveling done. Yeah, no, this is just hard chaos. We could do wet. Let's have a look at that. Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of pulling on this side, so I'm not getting the exact. Oops, 250. It's affecting like right here on the sides of this plateau. Harsh chaos is actually going to allow me to get a little bit more control over those spikes. The wet, the wet, the hard wet blend is going to drag those out. I will be using that here quite a bit, but not right now on these plateaus. And again, these are the highest areas of the map. And we're going to pull this down into other areas. On these lower parts, I'm just going to go very light. The higher parts, I'm going to go very hard. Since we're going to be adding so much mass, if you add here, let me show you. If you add too much mass with Art Rage, let's say I came in here with this. See how it goes that dark color? We want to avoid that dark color until we use, yeah, that darkness comes in, then we have issues. We want to save that for the mountains. We want to save that for the really big areas. So again, we're trying to control the amount of mass on this, but we want a lot of mass because we want a lot of variance in here. Again, I'm hitting the highest points. I'll come back and start blending stuff. This also helps me kind of develop a grins and giggles. Like right here, we got like a huge canyon that I want to keep all of a sudden. I'm just kind of making up landforms and stuff as I do this, well, keeping in mind, you know, some histories and stories and stuff like that. Because I mean, right here we kind of have a, I don't know, maybe something from maybe from the Yellow River up in China. I love heart. The key with harsh chaos is the fallout and manipulating the fallout and the pressure, and you can get some amazing things. You'll see in this map. You don't see it in my other maps, but I'll be switching that quite a bit. Yeah, that's why I love this program. But I'll be using harsh chaos in different forms. That way, using it to change the feel and the structure of the landform I'm doing. There we go. Just a quick announcement: in a couple weeks, Avanovus is actually going to be doing a podcast, a live podcast on Twitch and on YouTube about game mastering, dungeon mastering tips. We have a couple people that are really good friends. I don't want to announce names or throw names around, but two guys are local players, and I really respect they have some really good things to say. One guy actually is I forgot what company he tests for. He tests for a bunch, but right now he's testing for a really big one. And his name's Mike, and I really want to get him on a show, because every time I talk to him, he gives me the state of role playing, and he keeps track of it. He goes down to the CDC every year, sets up booths, and has his own little news group and stuff like that. All right. Now, as we chisel, since we're doing this as the very biggest, our mountains we're going to do a lot later in this process. Right now, we're just trying to even up everything and create a happy limit to the height. Then we're going to, depending on stuff, we'll change that limit, but we want it similarly. Yeah, I can talk. We want it similar to everything else. The way we control that is like this guy right here is a lot higher than this guy. That's darker, that's lighter. So to fix that, we're just going to go add some more, then push mass. There we go. Away from that. But then again, if we're doing stories, we have like a bunch of inner oceans and stuff like that that's caused by the plates being pulled apart. Like right here, I'm skimming this plateau off just with the harsh chaos, pushing the mass away there. Same thing up here. We will be starting to use, once we get like this map done and colored, we're actually going to be taking this into ZBrush, create a 3D model that can be used in like Unity or something else, or another game engine. Color it with the same colors we use on this, create a 3D model, transpose it, and then make a 3D interactive map that you can zoom in and see countrysides and stuff like that. So that's going to be fun. Oh, here, let me show you guys this really quick. This is kind of a dorky thing we did the other day. Oh, where was it? Oh, did I delete it? I think I deleted it. Did I? I deleted it. Crap. I had to free up some space for this map. Oh, we basically made we took a we took a copy of a terrain map, a height map, and we made it into Google Earth and made our own little globe. It wasn't the best looking thing, but man, it was fun. All right, now we got those done. Let's see if we missed anywhere. Quality check. Yep. I put in a request or just a hint to the Art Rage guys. I want something that would I wanted a knife brush that behaves like a fan brush. That actually, when you're up here, it pulls down and creates the same harsh chaos line and that jitter. sent some, just asked the other day for advice on that. So I've also been playing around with the custom brush maker. All right. Just double checking. We're going to now raise this up to about 450. And we're just going to start pulling around this. I'm trying to keep the harsh chaos. I'm going very, very slow, trying to keep it off the middle. All right, now if we're putting this into a actual size, I mean, these little hills and stuff would be gigantic, almost like no oxygen there. So as we go in and clean this up, we'll get a little bit better. But yeah, we got another valley, maybe isolated. Since this is in the south, we're going to go we'll have these big mountains, and it has been isolated. Maybe have some like Neanderthalic humans, like the orcs in Warcraft or something like that. Ancient Germanic tribes or English Picts. Oh, sorry about that. Allergies are starting to kick in. Again, we're up here. Just slowly blending that in. We're not going. Let's drop the pressure and fall off. Bring the fall off. There we go. Nope, that's not working. Let's go back. Fix that. Because we don't want the spikes right now, we just want something even. That's why I'm using harsh chaos on this, because I really can control flow. When you round it out, it definitely makes you can make it go very smooth, but keep the same texture that you want. And again, these brushes I'm using will be the biggest brushes in this entire project. Eventually I'll get down to brushes that are only, 26% of the actual brush size. Now, granted, that 26% is like 300 pixels. Then I'll get down to 10 or 12. But right now, we're just trying to even things out. Use the high points as a reference. Those high points are going to start showing us exactly where things are. And we constitute these by going in and kind of planning out. So we kind of have this really cool little highland thing here. I think I like that. I think we're going to keep that highland. So, distributional, if you're there, how is the Bethesda stuff going? There we go. And again, smooth things out. You already can see this high mountain ridge right here. but we don't want any of those spikes, so we just do little round stuff like that. And keeping it smooth. The reason we're keeping this smooth and so big, what we're going to do next is we are going to start doing massive. I've been watching Oxhorn play Fallout 76, and man, that looks fun. I know it's a lot different than like playing Fallout 3 or Fallout 4, and I don't think it should be the same game, but it looks impressive. And it looks like it'd be really fun to play. That's awesome. Yeah, I gotta write more. My wife has a degree in technical writing, so she does all the fiction writing for this. We get together and plan stuff out. We have a couple other people that do short stories for the game system that we've been working on. Smooth that out. Yeah, getting some interesting strata. Try to make things as smooth as possible. Then we're going to start running erosion lines like crazy. That's going to give us the shape of the map. The key to doing those, however, is getting a lot of mass. This will be our big river valleys that we'll do next. Yeah, I think that's what I like that with what I've saw is you got some cool people on there. I didn't know that. Ooh, that was my only concern actually. That's what I'm saving up for. How's the base building in that, in your opinion? I've heard mixed things with, again, with Oxhorn, who I follow online. He loves it, but get your opinion on that. Well, thanks. Yeah, you're getting the full treatment. You're going to see not the, not the fast stuff, full. This is about size of, well, a little bit smaller than Asia. We're making basically continental plates here, and we'll start making the big river valleys. Yeah, we want to smooth that down, control where things are. You guys can already see we're getting that. We're getting some valleys. We're talking like Mississippi Delta or Nile Delta size there. Just a question from Bus over on Twitch. Um, in a way, I do this for a living. In a way, I don't. This is one of the many aspects of what I do for a living. My income is based on commissions and sales of little maps on Drive Through RPG and stuff like that. Um, my main job is that I am a homemaker. I take care of my house and my kids, and because my wife can make much more money than I ever could doing being a roadie or a designer. She loves that, and I like doing this, and it works. If she ever gets tired, I'll probably go back on the road or something like that. But right now in life, this is what we're doing. It's good. Yeah, I was kind of struggling this last week to just find something, especially on Monday. We we'd been developing that technique of creating 3D printable terrain and then making our own brushes with height maps and stuff like that, which speeds up processes. I might use those for some of this. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Phone line's okay with that. Definitely give him credit for it. Okay. This area, since it is rift, I'm just moving the harsh chaos back and forth. All right, same thing here. I was actually going to do a lot more ZBrush modeling on the channel, because we are currently creating our own miniature line. We make our miniatures, and we actually go to a local foundry that Andrew, my business partner, works at. And we cast our own miniatures out of, out of bronze. We also use a resin 3D printer. I was thinking about doing reviews for the channels too. And actually, we have those online now, so over on the Alva Novus website, you could actually see some of the miniatures we've done. Again, I need to update that site. I neglect that site like I neglect my islands. All right. The height map there. If I break out into random song, I'm sorry. Listen to my happy mix of happiness. No one wants to listen to me sing. What I'm doing next is I'm going in from the... Well, I probably shouldn't do that yet. All right. Not too shabby there. I'm a happy camper. Gotta head up here first, though. We will save this. Then we're going to add some paint to this. Okay, so everybody, good juju, deep breath. And now we wait. Making sure this doesn't crash. We had a question in Twitch about how we... Is that mixer? About what music I'm listening to. It is a really eclectic collection of... I've got Journey on here. I've got Black Sabbath. I've got Muse, some Coldplay, the entire Doom soundtrack. Some classical stuff that I really like. Oh, some old German techno. I mainly do stuff that, I've had good memories with and I'm feeling good about. Well, that saves. Oh, there's another little project we've been working on. If anybody's interested in their logos for their cars, don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, it's reversed. Yeah, a little decal for cars. My brother-in-law started his business, Just got those to us. All right. Deep breath. What we're going to do next is, just for grins, we're going to create a duplicate layer of this one. Well, I'm like very much on the red side. While we save that, I'm just going to adjust this. World's boringest stream. I'm sorry. There we go. Video display. Plus. Filter. We got some Katy Perry and Gaga on this mix. I'll mess with that later. It's saved. All right, we're back on the map. Gonna now do a duplicate layer. We're gonna use this layer as a backup in case I screw anything up, which I will. Then I can go in and take the things I like, cut it off, put it back in, blend it in. All right. River valleys. Hide that layer. All right, we got that going into here, and we're going to take our eraser, put the softness through the roof, bring this to about, I don't know, 200, maybe 250. Yeah, that's good. Get the pressure up a little bit more. There we go. Oh, geez. That's horrible. I'm so sorry, man. Was there some PTSD there that I just inflicted on you? Okay. If you notice here, what I'm doing is I'm running my eraser. Yeah. And as I pass this down, what I'm doing is just creating some erosion lines. I'm coming into the center of everything. Now these erosion lines are going to act a little bit differently. We're basically, anywhere there's lower land is where these are going to go. And I'm not pressing place music. Wait, whoa. Is it Doom? Is Doom going on? Am I missing something with Doom? And then I'm just kind of getting a feel for where these are going, starting these tops. Just kind of bringing them down. These will be my valleys and other things, except I don't like that. So we're going to start right there. We're actually going to create a higher line right there by going in with those. And this is going to look really weird and won't look good for a while, but we'll start placing our high areas. We'll blend these up and we'll get even more depth. Keeping these high areas high. We're just kind of planning out the rest of this. There we go. Put another one here. Yeah, these are like the really deep valleys. Again, I can't stress when someone freaks out, these are not rivers. These are just low points in the land. But this is going to take a very long time to do all these because we start this big, then we go in at like 175. I do the exact same thing. Then we go back in at 100, then 50, then 75. So it's looking good. These tops will blend into the top of the mountain so it doesn't look so awkward. But I'm also make sure I'm taking these into these little areas. Yeah, I'm pushing too hard right there, so yeah, we'll go in harsh chaos. I might as well just show you here. We're just gonna tap the top of these so it doesn't look like, hey, I dragged a eraser brush. Just doing little taps on this. There's my pressure. A little low pressure, fall off about right there. If it gets too bad, I will go in with like a wet blend and take care of that. So, yeah. Okay, back to this. Come over here. Distributional. Are they doing anything different? Have they showed any Quake stuff or anything like that? Go. Go. Okay, let me show you what I'm going to do in essence. We started at 250, then we're going to go to like 150, and we're going to repeat this process. It actually might be a little too big, so let's go 100. We're also going to reduce the softness. Yeah, it's not working. We're also going to run the brush down the same lines, such. Again, I'm using a very big brush tip here. I'll just do this whole area right here like this. Then we'll come back into this a little more. We'll take this down to about, let's go 30. Ah. So then once we get into that, get the shallows of retreatment. Connect and blend them on the bottom. So that's kind of the detail right there. Then we're going to go in. We're going to go harsh chaos. We're going to go to 100, and we're just going to very gently tap on that. And that's going to split it up even more for us. The key here is we're just taking off paint to show high points and low points. That is going to be our first layer of detail when we do stuff like that. Now again, this area here is kind of a, going to get a lot of erosion since the mountains here will change how many lines there are here. So we're going to start seeing stuff like that. Then we'll go in with an instant blur, give that about 200. Reduce the pressure and softness to something really small. Very carefully just write that down. As such. And that's going to form our basic topography. Then we'll go in and we'll go in with a brush. Let's go about 8. And we're going to start making the actual river valleys. These will behave like normal rivers. Actually, yeah, there we go. We don't put these on, we don't have these cut in yet because we're going to go over these a couple times, but we're going to run these up, some of these, not some others. We're also going to run some of these canyons up into here. And we're going to use this texture that we made to hit these river valleys. The farther we go down, the bigger we're going to get with this brush. So like in this area, we'll taper, etc., so forth. We come down into an area like this. Let's go back to that 8. Anytime we have river join each other, we're going to create a wider meandering river valley like such. Not pressing too hard. This again is just the general plan with this map. Maybe we have something there. Now, these are the rivers, but this is the way that erosion lines have come down. And again, you can't see really that detail at this, but when you zoom into an area like this, let's go ahead and we're going to fade that out just a touch. We're just going to very gently run the blur through that. So it creates more of a topography there. Blends a little bit well, a little bit better. And then we're going to go to our, depending on where it is, we're going to go to the heavy wet blend or the harsh chaos, and we're just going to travel on the edge of this up. Pull that down a little bit. I like using harsh wet blend at this level because it changes stuff up. You can see we have some really deep canyons right there. If it's too much and we don't want a canyon there, we can always go in and just change something. Right there. And this is why this is going to take a couple weeks. I'm a little too fast on there. That's, I got impatient there. That's not a good thing. So we'll just go back to eraser really quick and get some more of this here. Ooh, Zep just came on my playlist. There we go. Now, I won't do the actual rivers until I get the mountains in. And the mountains, again, rely on this exact same style. And we'll go up and blend. We need to go and blend that. I'm actually going to use Harsh Chaos to blend that in. Just pulling the mass, oops, too much there. Top that up into the mountain area. Yeah. Right. So, and again, that's just that little area that I've been working on. I'll do that for the entire map. And if we want to get fun, you can always add a little bit of color to this. Let's go with the dark green. Let's go to 250. Normal blend is a little high. I've added metallic into this. We add more metallic into it, and this sucker really starts to pop. It also shows us where there's some areas that we need to go in and fix, like right here. I'm going to drop this down to about 35. Blend that out a little bit. The key is not going through all that lovely texture we did, but kind of blending it. But yeah, we got a very cool canyon right here I want to keep. So the next thing we'll probably do is when it's time to make mountains, I will add a new layer entirely. Might as well just show you guys the process, right? We'll go back to our glitter brush. We'll pop this down to 25. And another layer. Again, we'll go tools, layer options, bump modes, add. This might actually be a little too big. Nope, that's perfect. So we're going to start. Well, let's get a different color so it actually shows up until we paint it. And we create our mountains and our height. I do mountains at this point because if I don't, I lose the height that I've spent so much time on. And we're just focusing on something similar to the Pacific Coast. And we haven't gone here and modified that stuff, so it's really huge and not as detailed. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is lock the transparency, go in, find our yield insta blur, drop that down. I really do need to load my custom brushes for this. And just run that. Let's go a little bit more pressure. There we go. Probably could add some mass to this too. Okay, cool. Then after we do that, we're going to come in with our transparency still locked. We're going to go with our harsh chaos. Pull this down to about, that's good. Well, let's go a little. Let's go back up to 100. Zoom in. We're just very going to gently. We're clicking. If you guys can see that, we're clicking on the peaks and around it. Kind of focus on creating a ridge line. Once we get this ridge line, we'll actually add it into the layer below and blend it in. Yeah, it's just cutting in right there. Yeah, we're getting actual mountains that we want. Like that one right there, that's what we're going after. And even at this size, we're losing a little bit of resolution. But I think we're okay. Again, it's just wherever I feel like to place the mountains. Okay, so there's a mountain right there. We're now going to unlock the layer. We're going to add this into, merge that layer down. This is going to take a little bit. Okay, the reason for that is there's a setting in the canvas I'm using. With ArtRage, you actually get to show your, I'll actually show you right now. Hi, Jamie, how you doing? So canvas settings with ArtRage. Okay, you can have a canvas setting like that. You can also add like a grain to it. So it gives you a realistic physics and effective painting. Let's give it a second. I'm really pushing this program. Just add some metallic into that. And what this does is you can actually set your, anything you draw on this will respond, like right now it's a brick or something like that. So if I really wanted to go and make bricks, I could make bricks like that. But I'm going to clear that. I'm going to get rid of the grain. Again, the grain size you can make, roughness, let's jump up. So if I'm doing something on a, like a skin of an animal, you can actually load that. Or if I'm doing on a stretch, whatever. Again, with the size of this, since it's like 2 gigs, yeah, you can see it there. But you basically you turn it. Yeah, you got it. So in order to do that, we don't want any of this. So I'll drop my opacity down to nothing, but I'll still have that background. So if I erase into the very bottom of this, I can see exactly where the bottom is. When I'm moving this brush that I'm currently using, you can see it's actually creating these ridge lines and stuff like that. It's just a way for me to keep up exactly what I'm doing, exactly where stuff is. Then we're in here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. We're going to now blend this in. It's too big. Very gently up here. Once it's blended, I'll go back and run another mouse to create like my mouse or stylus through it. Usually I just tap it like that to blend. Too much. Let me pull this up. There we go. But again, it meets the outlines. I'll show you what happens next. Now we're going to go back in the top of this, increase this to 100, and break this up further. Sometimes, like down in this area, you really don't even need to do that because you're already getting a very detailed whatnot. Then you can actually see the organic peaks starting to really shine through there as I pretty much cut through there. Then it's the same process we used on this lower part. We're going to go in and cut these out. Usually just, if you're doing this kind of technique, don't worry about destroying any texture. You don't want this brush to get down in those river valleys. I mean, if we came in down there, you're going to have issues. Or it's a great way to blend the river valley if you want to control. Me, I kind of want that. I like that right there. I kind of really digging that. So just go in and hit this and pull this down into stuff. We're going to go down here, drop the pressure on. We're just going to blend these mountains up into this area. Same thing over here with the high points, low points. And I'm kind of copying the little bit of lower Rocky Mountains in Colorado or the Sierra Nevadas. Sierra Nevadas. Yep. Okay. Now to make sure everything's all copacetic, we'll go in and we will, I'm just going to color this the background. Thank you. Noticing these, I've got kind of this plastic feel on these. So there's two ways I can deal with that. I can either go in with a blurred brush. If I was doing this map with this, and I can come in, oops, way too much blur. And I can actually take this blur up these mountains. So that feel is the same. Now, I'm working with a lot of metallics on the paint. So you're going to get kind of this wet feel. The way to solve that is a more texture with, I'll show you. And also turning down the light of the effect. I can come in here also, turn this up to 500, keep the glitter size, minute. That kind of breaks up the plastic. But again, we get the mountains. I'm kind of having a little bit of an issue. I think I went too big on these, so we're going to come in with our harsh chaos. I'm just going to run the harsh chaos down these river valleys. And again, this is why I keep another layer if I mess something up. So what I'm going to do is actually make mountains out of this area. And then we'll repeat what we did before. Again, I'm just going to show you on this one, then I'll get back to smoothing out. Oh, that sectage. I usually do my layers, first of all, the mounts on a different layer, and then I bring it into this, especially if I'm working with a detailed version of this map or any other map. That'll give me an idea of what it looks like. It's also based on where I'm at and how I'm feeling. You can either do it in this part of the map, like right now this is all changing because I chose one style over another. But generally, I don't know, it'll be how I feel. You kind of get a little bit more detailed, a little more rocky approach if you do it in the layer above. If you want something really blendy, like right now I'm kind of doing the same thing, and I'll do this over and over again. I'm gonna step back. So okay, is that it? Yes. No, that's not it. But again, it destroys a lot of what you did if you do it this way. But I think that's the point of Art Rage, is it's very organic. So you come in stuff like that. To help with that, I find your best control with Art Rage comes in when you're working with. Here, let's get rid of these mountains. Let's actually get rid of this layer. We're going to. I'll show you a little different way to do how I do this in a different way, because I'm really digging this detail right here. I think the mountains are killing it. Now, if we step far too back, did I kill Art Rage? No. There we go. Come on. Anyways, going back to the, once you're doing a scale, I always like to keep my DPI above 250 or double my brush. If that makes any sense. All right, we're back here. There's our layer of mountains. Say we don't like that. That's one way to do it. But with this detailed and the size of this, I mean, let's go ahead and we'll do kind of this. It's a square size, not too big, not multicolor. I'm just gonna dab on the top of these. Maybe even go smaller. But these are kind of rounded valleys you'll find in, like, what I'm going for is stuff you'll find like in Wales or various parts of England. There we go. We're just making peaks here.
You know, under the stream it's raining outside.
What's up, dude?
Raining outside.
Okay. Let me just finish this, and it's time that I went out and hit some stuff. All right. Oh, yeah, it's been 2 hours. And then on the very tops of these, I'll add another layer. This is a little slower, but I think for where I'm at right now, it's going to create some better control. Until I come in later tonight and look at it and really not like it and change everything out. Okay, now I'm going to go with a heavy wet frost, excuse me, hard wet blend, keep it about there, drop the pressure off. Just going to tap very lightly on those mountains. So we're just a little bit of build up, but it's blending in with everything else. Got kind of this cool plateau. Maybe there's an ancient kingdom on there. Just make up something. Hitting? Sorry, I don't understand. Oh, I got errands to run. I also have a daughter I need to pick up from school because it's pouring outside right now. So got to go hit some stuff. Got to get some errands done. So there's the top of the mountains. Let's go ahead and color that. And that's zero metallic. We add a lot of metallic into that. Say we have a little mountain, little valleys, some high hills, and again, that's the size of our map, and that's where we just worked at. No, actually this area. And then top that off with this, the tectonic. We can go in with our brush. Very lightly hit that. A little bit of gradient on there. Maybe move into the yellow. Way too much barf yellow, so that's no bueno. There we go. We can control the color of where stuff is. So we get into these mountains. Again, I'm doing this really quick because I got to go here a second. Then we can also start controlling where those mountains are. Then if we want to get really fancy, set this over, drop our metallic down. And again, something I can do is right now the lighting is on full tilt. And I can always take that down so it doesn't look so wet. And I'm just coming in and touching off the top of these mountains as such. I always do my maps in June. See? Little mountain there, little popping. About the right scale for the size I'm working with. Again, I'll go back and tweak this a couple times just because it's me. So, it's not too bad. Okay. Cool. I hope I'm in the right. Yes, I am. Wow, I am pinking that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. This is our first video in a very large series of videos. This has been good. You kind of see the process of what I'm going to be doing. I will tweak this a little bit, add some more stuff into it. There's going to be a little bit of monotony that I want to spare you from. So next time, probably on Monday, we'll go in, get the rest of the River Valleys form and start working on erosion lines. Everybody in the Avant Novus community group, glad to have you in the chat. Really, everybody else that has just joined, welcome in. Hope this has helped with something. And I will talk to you later. Again, this Monday, we're going to be working on this map. Wednesday, we're going to do a map an hour. Friday, probably back to this map. And I might just do some model building in stream. So miniature building and sculpting there. So everybody, thank you so much for coming. Have a great day and hopefully see you soon.